Hey, this is Kaous with Kaous Games. Today I want to talk about my third installment in the uh, what I plan to talk about today, which is God of War, of course. Um, this finished the main storyline, and just wanted to give my thoughts on it. First and foremost, I say it's an excellent game. If you're a PS4 owner, definitely pick it up. Um, I feel sorry for anybody who does not own one at this point to be able to play this game. For fans of the old series, the original trilogy, and subsequent spin-offs, I will say it's very little in common with that original trilogy. Um, in many ways, it is worthy of the hype which has been given to it, but there are some negative points that should be addressed. The story itself is pretty straightforward. It's not too much to spoil. It's, Kratos, after the end of 3, apparently met some woman, and they had a child together. And the boy's name is Atreus, and basically she, at the beginning of the game, she had just died, so you never actually see her have any interaction with this woman. She's covered up, so you don't even see her. And they basically burn her, and then they're going to take her last wish was to have her ashes taken to the highest point of the highest peak of any mountain in all the realms. And so that is what Kratos and his son are to do in this game. And they're being pursued by Norse gods for some reason. With that said, the story isn't really, the mechanics of the story aren't really important. It's clear that they're focusing on the journey. As Kratos apparently never spent a lot of time with his son. It's implied that he spent most of his time with his mother. She's the one who taught him most things. He was a sickly child, and Kratos was he was around, but he was out hunting most of the time, never really around to spend time with him. So it was clear that she did this to try to encourage some more deeper connection, as they would be all that they had left at this point. So it's more about that, and basically creating layers in a character that really was singular focused, laser focused character before. All rage and fury and destruction is the Kratos of the original trilogy. We know this. We saw what he did to his family, the gods, his stepbrothers and stepsisters. Just demolished everybody and wreaked havoc across all of Greece, basically. Kratos is still stern and very seemingly has an anger, but at the same time, they've created layers where it seems that Kratos has it's less that he's just that way, has no layers. It's that he actively conceals those layers, and they start to slowly poke holes in those layers in this game. And I like how they do that while trying to develop that connection with his son. You see glimpses of him almost indulging in his emotions, and then he pulls away, and then he stops doing that more and more as the game progresses. He just kind of gives into that, and then you see the connection form between he and his son. And this is a very good dynamic. His son's a very certain type of character, and it brings something out in Kratos that you just haven't seen before. And it made the character a lot more in depth. I liked it a lot. The story, what they did with the story, with the journey, with the banter between him and Kratos and Atreus, and a third character I'm not going to name because I don't want to spoil it. But yeah, there was some good lore there, some good banter. I like good banter, and they gave Kratos some kind of humor. Is on rare occasions, not too over the top. We're not like Thor Ragnarok and anything here, but you can see some. He actually has the humorous side. That's funny to see. Didn't expect that. So yeah, more story oriented. It plays kind of like Hellblade Senua, more focused on the face buttons aren't really used in combat anymore. It's more deliberate, like an action RPG like Dark Souls, or you use the shoulder buttons for light combos, and aiming and throwing your Thor Mjolnir like axe or Leviathan axe. So yeah, no, it's slightly different. It's not an overtype hack and slash anymore. It's more action RPG oriented, which seems to be a very popular way to go about things these days. Assassin's Creed Origins kind of went with the more action RPG oriented feel too. So that seems to be the thing these days, and everybody's kind of going with it. Obviously, you have Atreus, coming over doing some assists, so it's not just Kratos going through wreck anymore. It's more about connection, trying to work off of, have your son support you and work off you so you can handle things, which he is. He becomes really helpful later on. So I just think that it's overall it's a good thing. But as for the bad things, with all the positive and rave reviews of the open world and the story and the exploration and the journey, the banter, everything, all these positive things, there are some negative things. And the negative things is that diversity of bosses isn't really there. I would say there's only about 4 unique bosses in the game. No, one counts as 1. Then they have 2. Yeah, maybe about. No, there's more than that. I mean, there's a few, but there's most of them are secret bosses. The Valkyries, they all are slightly unique, but in the main story, there's about 2 unique bosses. Like, because I only counted it as 2 because one set of people, one set of come after you, and that's one boss, and then one dude comes after you 3 times. So you fight the same dude 3 times basically. So not much diversity. And then the non-unique bosses are basically what I call the troll giant type enemy. You fight the palette swap version of this boss like 50 times in this game. So it's just like okay, So some diversity issues. Unlike 3, where your boss fight, all the boss fights were off over the top and unique. You're just going through the whole Greek pantheon, just ripping heads off and stomping backs, all type of stuff Kaous was doing back in the day. So I think 3 overall had a way better diversity of enemy types and bosses, but I think they were going through for a different feel in that era too. This is something to note. It might not be a problem. I just had an issue with seeing the same finisher done a million times on the various bosses that have the same look, but are slightly different coloration. And so anyway, that's just my one nitpick with the game. That's a point minus for me. But overall, there's a lot to see, a lot to do. He used to use the Bifrost to travel to various realms, even though the one that you spend the most time in is, of course, Midgard, and you had the most to see there. You can go to various other realms and do various other things. So there definitely is a lot to see and do, a lot of fun to be had, and a lot of extra hours if you want. If you just want to keep going after the main story, there is a lot to do and see. So overall, I think they just did a really excellent job with the game for the most part. Slide for that, my few nitpicks with it. But it is definitely a must-have if you are into action RPGs. And if you were a fan of the God of War series, don't expect it to be the same. There are some similarities, but this is going to be a totally different feel to the game. But it's not a bad thing. I can tell you that much. Otherwise, this has been Kaous with Kaous Games. Until next time, gamers, game on.